I'm delighted that Lancaster has been shortlisted for the 2014 Green Gown Awards in the subject of carbon reduction. I think this is a tremendous testament to the hard work that's been put in by many people across the university, but particularly from our colleagues in facilities. I think that having a wind turbine here on campus is symbolic of the overall commitment of a university like Lancaster to being environmentally and socially responsible. A university can talk about its mission, but it should also then live it, and I think the wind turbine is a great testament to that. It's also an indication to our students who take the environmental future of this planet very seriously and are really welcoming of the fact that we have a wind turbine here on campus. In addition, of course, it has a financial payback, so it means you can be both environmentally friendly and financially smart at the same time. And we're very pleased that this has been funded through a project from both the university and HEFCE in trying to meet environmental sustainability of the higher education sector.
The Climate Change Act in 2008 committed the UK government to cutting carbon emissions by 43% by 2020 and 83% by 2050. The HE sector, through HEFCE, responded to this by also committing the sector to cutting carbon emissions by 43% and 83%. In order to achieve this, individual higher education institutions, such as Lancaster University, developed carbon management plans. Lancaster University's carbon management plan comprised a wide range of projects, including energy efficiency projects, installation of biomass boiler and a CHP plant, and of course, installation of the new wind turbine.
When the university was putting its master plan together in 2007, it also started to think about how it was going to deliver the utilities to the campus to support the development of the master plan. So it started thinking about how it was going to provide electricity, heating and water around the campus. And at that we took the opportunity to step back and think about how we could do it more sustainably. So part of our review that we undertook was to look at things like energy generation or renewables and about how we could bring that onto campus. And from the options analysis we undertook, the wind turbine came out as a very strong contender.
To get tenders of wind turbine suppliers, you need to have four things. You need to have planning permission, you need to be able to demonstrate that you've got funding, you need to have a letter that says you've got grid connection, and you need to have 12 months wind speed data at hub height. So all these things, they don't sound too difficult, but believe me, they're very time consuming.
Unfortunately, we had our planning application rejected for 2 turbines, and we had to reconsider the projects, and we took it forward requesting a single turbine. When we were successful in being awarded planning permission for the single turbine, that reduced the budget requirements down to about 3.8 million. So that's the total investment that was made available.
On the planning side, there are a number of challenges and hurdles that you'll have to get over. These might include biodiversity plan, and you'll have to consider impacts on things like bats, geese, newts, making sure all these animals are well looked after. You'll need an archaeology study. You'll need to get an archaeologist down there, and he might be digging around for 6 to 9 months, seeing if there's any Roman ruins. You'll need to do a noise assessment to see whether you're going to have any impact on proximity of any residences, making sure that your turbine's not more than 5 dB above the background noise. You'll have to do a shadow flicker study. What's a shadow flicker study? Well, that's when the sun is behind the turbine and you get this shadow cast on properties. And that's usually 8 rotor lengths between the turbine and the houses. That's where that comes into play. You can't build within certain distances of motorways and roads. Generally, it's tip height plus 50 metres, so you need to be away from the roads. And all these will add up. Oh, and then I forgot to say, there's Natural England. You're going to have to go and see Natural England. And the big issue they'll have is that you'll be able to see it. And it's pretty difficult one to get over that. And so there are many, many hurdles and many, many challenges in getting to the point where you can sit in front of the planners and ask for planning permission.
Once the planning application and environmental impact assessment were finalised, public exhibitions and consultations were held in early 2010 on the project in Lancaster and nearby villages of Cormer and Goulgate, and at the university. The purpose of which was to explain the project and its impacts and obtain local people's views on the scheme.
We as Green Lancaster, part of Lancaster University Students' Union, played a big part in sort of rallying students together to sort of get an interest in why we were putting the turbine in, and also how it fitted into the general development plan under the carbon management plan at the university. And we aim to help support facilities in generating that student interest. And we actually found that there was a massive level of student interest and support for the project.
Now, our turbine was manufactured in Germany in a town called Aurich, just on the coast. And the turbine sailed across the North Sea and was delivered in Hull. And then we had 3 police forces escorting the turbine all the way from Hull up to here in Lancaster. We had numerous lampposts, as I said, numerous traffic lights, numerous bollards all taken out so that the wagons could actually go straight across roundabouts, straight round, straight across street lights. Fascinating thing to watch when it was being delivered. As it gets to site, we had to construct a new access road, a 1.5 kilometre access road uphill, and then you need a lay-down area to put all these components down, and for a very large crane to come along and lift the pieces into place. Now, as far as the cranes are concerned, there's probably less than half a dozen in the whole of the UK, and they're like hen's teeth to buck. So making sure that your crane matches with your delivery of your turbine is a feat in itself. So once all the components make it to site, the construction actually is relatively easy and relatively quick. To my amazement, the thing can go up in about 2 weeks. The German engineers are precisions and masters at this, and indeed ours was constructed within 2 weeks, and probably a month later the machine was spinning and generating.
The wind turbine has been operating for nearly 2 years. During the 2013-14 year, it has generated over 5,000 megawatt hours of electricity, 40% higher than budgeted. It's producing around 15% of the university's annual electricity consumption, and combined with the CHP means that the university is generating up to 40% of its own electricity annually. Interest and support for the project has encouraged and improved communications between facilities, teaching, research and student communities.
The wind turbines really sparked a lot of imagination within the student community in terms of interest in obviously wind turbines and also other renewable energy sources, and we've seen that through a number of avenues that we work with students, both sort of on our volunteer programs in terms of people asking us questions and queries about where the university is going with renewable energy, but also through a number of our linkages with academic departments where we actually have students running research projects.
A community benefit fund has been established to share the benefits of the wind turbine with the local community. The fund awards £20,000 annually, with the first round of funding being awarded in August 2014 to 7 local environmental and community projects.
I love the wind turbine. I think it really shows that Lancaster University is committed to becoming a sustainable campus, and it mentions in their strategic plan that they want to become an exemplar in environmental thinking and commitment, and I think it really shows that they are enacting what they've said in their plan, which is always nice to see.
The wind turbine, in conjunction with other projects in the CMP, has enabled Lancaster University to reduce its Scope 1-2 carbon emissions by 28% between 2005-06 and 2013-14. Emissions for the last year have been reduced to 17,800 tonnes of CO2. Lancaster University is well on the way to meeting its carbon reduction target of 43% by 2020.
One of the great opportunities about projects like this is to share the learning and the knowledge that we've generated across the sector so that other people may take advantage and be able to carry out their own installations in support of a more sustainable energy future for the higher education sector. But wouldn't it be great that we're not just celebrating the extraordinary achievements? Wouldn't it be great that we're actually celebrating the fact that these technologies should be considered on every project, at every opportunity, and implemented where they can be?